Today we're looking at the Series 2 Lotus Elise. This car was named after the granddaughter of the chairman of Lotus, Romano Artioli. She was just 2 at the time. And in 2022, all grown up, she was presented with the very last Lotus Elise, the Sport 240 in Championship Gold. Before the Elise, Lotus had been in trouble. The Elan hadn't sold well as they'd hoped in the mainstream sports car market, with the Mazda MX-5 doing that job very successfully. So Lotus had to think again and came back with the Elise, which was incredibly light with a fiberglass shell, the Series 1 weighing in at just 725 kilograms. It sold for £18,995. But what of the Series 2? This was a slightly modified version of the one to meet European crash regulations. This Series 2 belongs to David Spain, who likes to use it for camping. Yes, you did hear right. Right, we're inside with Dave, inside this 2003 Lotus Elise. What is it about the Lotus Elise for you?
I've always been a fan of Lotus and Colin Chapman and the engineering, which I love. So I always wanted one as a kid, and they had this reputation of lots of trouble, usually serious.
Yeah.
And then when they made the Elise, it was suddenly a car that was reliable and fairly practical. You can use. This is my only car. I don't use it a lot for around town, but as long as you don't want to carry anything big in it, it's a nice car to drive around in.
So this has got the touring pack, which includes the leather steering wheel, leather seats. There's a bit of padding there to get the noise down and things like that. You've got the radio, and you literally do touring this because you go to Scotland in this, don't you?
Yeah, I love walking in the hills.
Yeah.
So it's been to Scotland a couple of times, and once it's up there, I do 60 miles an hour in it up the motorway, and it's comfortable, as you know, coming up here. A little bit noisy, but once you're up there and on the Scottish roads or the Lake District, it's heaven.
I have to say it was tricky getting in. I did struggle with that. I'm glad we didn't film that part. But once you're in, as you say, you can stretch your legs out. It's quite a nice feel to it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, it's a very light vehicle, this, isn't it? Both this, the Series 1 and Series 2. We think the Series 2 is possibly lighter.
Yes. The innovation is they used aluminium extrusion, which they glued together instead of welding. And it just made the structure that was so light. They used fiberglass as normal. It's got a steel subframe for the engine and the roll cage, but apart from that, they've made extremely light car.
Yeah. Now the engine in this is a K series Rover engine,
which also has a reputation.
Yes.
But it's extremely light. It was designed as a 1400 engine, which they then kept boring out until the cylinders got so close to each other that you have to look after it.
Right. Now, when you say look after it, what do you mean by that?
It's sitting in traffic jams, just keeping an eye on the temperature gauge, making sure it doesn't overheat. The fan's cut in a little bit late, but if you're sensible with it, warm it up properly before you start it.
Yeah. So in this one, you've got the radiator in the front, engine in the back.
And the engine in the back,
Yeah. Right. So you've got a bit of space in the front or not? Or is it the boot space is in the back? How's it work?
That's your boot. It's not like these, some other cars have a frunk.
Yeah.
No, you just got the boot and this space behind the seat.
A little bit of space behind the seat, yeah.
Where your tent can go and things like that.
Yeah, so obviously enough space for you to take your stuff for your travelling when you do go up there.
Yeah. I've been camping in it, and it's,
it works.
For one person.
Yeah, it works.
I don't know for 2 people, but for one person.
So what sort of speed would this go?
I think it's down as 125.
Right. Okay.
I can well believe it because the 0 to 60 is respectable. Yeah. And then, but it's after that it just keeps on going.
Okay. Yeah. And this was the first Lotus to be designed on a computer.
Yeah. It's just good British engineering.
Now, General Motors, they invested in the Series 2, this one, didn't they? So they could get themselves a badged VX220 model, which they brought out, wasn't it?
Yeah, as far as I know, they wanted to improve their image, so they wanted a sports car. Yeah. So they invested money in going from the Series 1 Elise to the Series 2,
Yeah.
which is how we got this.
Yeah.
And they got the VX220.
Have you driven a VX220?
No, I haven't. No.
Do you have a VX220? If you do, let us know about it. Send us your pictures. That'll be absolutely brilliant. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, and you can log on to our blog at www.downtothebarns.uk. Can we get this car out for a drive?
I think we can, yes.
Let's give it a go, shall we? So here we are with the roof off. So let's see what this Series 2 can do. Okay, Dave, let's give it a go. Well, thank you, Dave. That was an enjoyable ride around town.
Thank you.
We enjoyed that. The thing is, though, you're moving on now, aren't you? You're going to be going to...
Yes, I'm semi-retiring,
Yeah.
so I'm moving up to Cumbria.
Yeah, so you're going to look at getting rid of this car, selling it. What sort of price are you looking for?
About £10,000. It's certainly not immaculate. There's a few knocks on it, but it's been well looked after.
Yeah. So if you're interested in this car, please get in touch with me and I can pass your details on to Dave. But for now, that's the end of Down at the Barns for this week. But don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.